Hello and welcome back to Johnson
versus Johnson. And today we're going to be reviewing the new Godzilla film directed by Gareth Edwards.
And this movie is really good in my opinion. I've seen a couple Godzilla movies before. This is probably the best one that I've seen. Unlike a lot of the other Godzilla movies, this one is a serious one completely. There are barely any jokes throughout the entire movie. It's all based on suspense and action. And the things that I really liked about the movie were the amazing special effects, the sound, the music. Everything in this film is produced amazingly. They really do a good job of making there lots of suspense, lots of really intense action. You're always on the edge of your seat. There's lots of really good manipulation of light to make things look scary and stuff, and the monsters in this movie look absolutely amazing. What did you like about it?
We watched it in 3D, something which I'm not a big fan of generally. And I did find once you got accustomed to the glasses, you didn't actually notice the 3D effect that much. Maybe if we'd watched it in IMAX, it would have made a bigger impact. The biggest impact the 3D for me had was when it changed to a different location, and it actually had like a title on the screen saying Philippines or whatever. That to me stood out more on the 3D than anything else. Maybe it's just because we were watching it.
But what did you like about the film?
Again, yeah, the visual effects were absolutely incredible. I mean, knowing what goes into making a short film, making a film on this scale, and it's a full 2 hours as well, and it was just, I have to say, astonishing. Probably the best effects I've seen in a film in a long time.
Yeah.
And it, despite the nature of the film, it did look realistic, and it's quite scary to think that something like that actually happened. A monster that size, whether it be real or whatever. I mean, it shows what you cannot do with a few guns. You wouldn't be able to destroy it. Let's put it that way.
Things we didn't like. I'll go first. Well, there is a lot of 75% of the movie is based on the human characters in the movie, not actually on the monsters, which for me is fine. It was good at building up suspense, and I liked it. Most Godzilla movies are like that, where he doesn't come into the very end anyway. But the problem I think I have with this movie is that for the time that it was only human characters, there were so many different characters that it seemed like they couldn't really focus on one. I mean, you have great actors like Sally Hawkins, Bryan Cranston, Ken Watanabe, and they're all really good in the film. They all obviously seem like they're having a great time making the film, but some of them, they're in it for so short amount of time, and the characters are so unfleshed out that it's kind of like, well, which one should they have gone with? I'd like to have seen a Godzilla movie where maybe they focused on just one group of characters throughout the whole thing, so we get a sense of building suspense. But they all did act well in the film, and I think even though it was a bit confusing and a bit confused, it was still pretty good. But that's probably my biggest problem. What about you?
I didn't have any issues with it per se anyway. I mean, I'm not a big action film fan anyway, and this is very untypical of me to agree to go and watch a film like this, as Cameron will testify to. But I actually really enjoyed it. I thought, it was pretty good. It was 2 hours long. Didn't seem too long. It was well paced, and I think Gareth Edwards did a great job. It must be really difficult to direct something that's going to rely so much on visual effects,
especially since this was his first major movie.
Yeah, he does a lot more television documentary, or has done in the past, but I believe he's going to be directing Godzilla 2, or he's rumoured to be attached to it. Again, I agree. Some of the actors who I do really like were killed off a bit too early, or say weren't in it long enough. Some of them were underused. David Strathairn and Sally Hawkins, a great actress. Again, she's really good anyway, but they could have got anyone to do that role. But not necessarily anything bad. I actually was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it, and it was very atmospheric, a lot of fun. Wouldn't advise taking very young children to, unless they're used to watching or are okay watching things like that. But I wouldn't say bring anyone under 10. You may disagree, but that's just.
So, what rating are you going to give it out of 4?
I would actually give it a 3, because I actually think 3 is a good, solid score for a film for me.
I'm going to give it an actual good score, a 3.5 out of 4, because 3 isn't actually a good score. That's like.
It is for me. I'm very good.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, 3.5 out of 4.
Okay, yeah, probably not one I'd watch again. I think
like
if you're going to watch this,
you won't watch anything twice.
Yeah, maybe. But if you're going to watch this, I would suggest watching on a big screen.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in 3D, but if you're going to watch it,
it probably wouldn't have been as good in 3D, because it was really the visuals and the way it was directed was probably the best part of it, and it's what kept us entertained for the whole movie.
Yeah.
So.
Or even in IMAX, that might work better. Okay. Well, thank you for watching, and
stay tuned for our next review.
Goodbye.